Okay, now recently I ran across another video from an actual psychiatrist. I've never listened to a psychiatrist before or anyone like that. Never watched a video with a psychiatrist talking about this particular one. It just popped up. You know, it's called Truth Tellers. She was talking about truth tellers as little kids, and that really resonated with me. And the thing she was describing kind of goes along with the Hauka. I said Hauku the other day. I think it's pronounced Hauka, but the Hauka empath. But it went along with that. That some little kids can recognize the truth of situations, the truth of things, even as little kids, and it can really impact them, kind of like it impacted my childhood. And in one way that may try to deal with it if it's just so much is to create an imaginary world in order to deal with it, this fantasy world, to deal with all this kind of stuff. And if they can deal with it successfully and be a productive life, they're really I don't want to be arrogant here, but they turn out pretty okay, pretty well overall. And maybe that's what I tried doing, is creating this crazy little world from the psychiatrist standpoint. My problem is, and I believe that, I even recognized that as a kid, that I'm creating this kind of fantasy side of me, this fantasy side to deal with stuff and how I can deal with it. And I recognize that even. I don't know if normal truth tellers can recognize it in themselves, that that's what they're doing, but I recognize it in myself. My problem, and that's why I call myself crazy, by the way, all those years and years and years and decades. You know, I'm just crazy as to my crazy little world, because that's how I deal with it. But my problem is, I've put out the videos on all the strange happenings, and I tried to include examples of where other people were involved. And that happened a lot, especially during trial and error days. Then I learned to keep it quiet and do things without people noticing. And doing things without people noticing, you might think, well, that's just the crazy little world. Nobody can verify this or anything. But the examples I've given you in the previous strange happenings with people involved, that's all true. People were actually there and saw that stuff happen. Like when I talk about the girl with the red velvet dress at Renfest, and I asked the weather to stop raining for us, start raining, start raining, and when and times and how long and what type of rain, and it all happened exactly like that. There were 4 people there that saw that, 5 counting my wife. So it was 3 groups of us, 3 couples. So they all saw that and questioned it afterward. That one time I talked about electricity, me feeling the pole at my professional workplace at Bell Helicopter. The electrical contractor, the contractor's name was Burton Brothers, was the name of the contractors. And I went and got the supervisor and told him something is seriously wrong with this pole, don't touch it, that kind of thing. And turned out he freaked out and he demanded that I tell him how I am, because I'm in safety. And he wants to know what gave it away so they could try to fix the problem, and so that they could look at it this in the future, what gave it away. And he really demanded to know that, because he wanted to be a better contractor, be a better electrician, and if he could identify the signs, it may help in their business in the future. The problem is, it was all strange happening. There was no sign of a problem. Now, you couldn't see it, but I sensed it, and I had to tell him that. And so he was one of the real people that knew this stuff happens. The other examples I give, they're all real. They're all real. More examples. My senses have come back. They've come back fully already, and I'm in an extremely low energy state. I don't know where this armor feeling is coming from. It's here now permanently. It's here now. Instead of this second skin, it's armor. So it's very interesting. I don't know what the deal is, and believe me, I'm not a pretty person, okay? I'm not like one of these big warrior types and pretty, good-looking people. I'm not that. I'm not a good-looking people, especially after losing the battles. I am not. I'm pretty banged up, you should say. Anyway, getting off that. I don't want to go into that anymore. But, examples. Just today, current examples of senses coming back. I'm not given any everyday driving. I give people in it. Let's see. Sam's. On the way back, I stopped at Sam's grocery store buying groceries, and I just instantly got the impression my in-laws want something from here. My in-laws want something from Sam's. So I called my wife and I said, do your parents want anything from Sam? She goes, I don't know, I'll check. And before she could call me back, she said, oh, there it is. That's what they want. They want one of these double packs of Splenda. They only want one item, the only one thing. So I went down the aisle, picked it up, did my electronic checkout, the scan and go, and then put it in the cart and started walking out. And my wife come back, yeah, they want one item. They just want one pack of Splenda. Yeah, the double pack of Splenda, just like I said, I already got it. Yeah, got it. No problem. So you just think real hard and pick up what you want, that kind of thing. So that's working again. Same thing leaving. Kind of getting the impression she might want some either salad or Chinese food. Same thing. So I went and picked up Chinese food, brought it home, and she was thinking about what to get for lunch and all that. But realized once I had it, she goes, "Oh, that's." She was thinking about other stuff, and then really wanted the Chinese that I bought her. She much preferred that. So I kind of got the impression that might be the case. So it worked fine, just like that. But that's more just impressions. And just knowing my wife, really, not anything super special. It's just knowing her close, because we're so close. But the one about her parents, knowing exactly what they want, what item that they want, they only wanted one and everything, and I picked it up, and sure enough, yeah. So that's all back. Feeling what people are doing when they're driving. Oh, and there was one other thing that was interesting, because I had read that Hyuga empath thing about really feeling people. Normally, when you've seen my videos, I've shied away from stuff. I put up barriers to keep from feeling things from people. I don't look at people in the eye. I don't stare at people. I'll glance away because I don't want to get all of that. I didn't do that. I didn't glance away. That would have been yesterday. If you see this Country Boy video before this one, the bulldozers, the guy driving the bulldozer named Kenny, older gentleman, he was sitting down on the grass, and he was talking, and he started getting off on the subject, a sad subject, of how he's having to take his wife for dialysis in a nearby town twice a week. She can't drive herself, and he was getting really sad. So I looked at him, and I really focused and let myself feel what he was feeling, and that was interesting. I've never done that before. Really stared at someone and just let myself go and almost become them, and that was an incredible feeling. I've never done that. Just let myself go into someone, and what it felt like, their emotions, I could feel every single little emotion, and I managed to steer it away from the conversation almost without saying any words. And it steered it away to a happy place, a really happy place. And he started laughing and talking about his hobbies and just really opening up. And then his grandson came by and sat down and just started having a nice, happy conversation. And what it was like, what I was feeling and seeing in my head, it was like I get a glass of water and you drop a piece of food coloring in it, how that food coloring drops down and then it spreads and starts swirling. That's what it was like. It was sitting in there inside of him and feeling the same emotions that he's feeling, and they're swirling and moving and turning. I've never done that before, and that was amazing. I told my wife when I got home, it's like, I normally shy away because I don't want to feel people's emotions. I don't want to know what they're thinking. I don't want to look at them in their eyes. I want to stay in the background, but I didn't that time, and I focused and just let myself go there, and that was a really good feeling because that was a good feeling. It was a really good feeling. And it wasn't any big help or any big deal. I mean, it was just going from sad to glad. I mean, it wasn't a big deal, not life-changing or anything. But for me, that was new. And this whole armor thing is new. I don't have a weapon or anything. And I will not go out asking for one, looking for one. I wasn't looking for armor or anything like that. Nothing like that. I don't. That's just wrong to ask for stuff personal like that. I know in the past I talked about asking for rain and stuff like that. That's more just me enjoying, and I don't know. It's not really anything for personal gain. This feels like personal gain. If I ask for, feels like an object, armor, weapons, stuff like that. That feels like personal gain, and I just can't do that. That was another thing that psychiatrist talked about, is these truth teller kids have a strong sense of justice. Same thing with a Hyuga empath, a sense of justice. And that is really odd because I have this really, really over the top sense of justice. It's way too screwed up. And I didn't realize that till I was down there talking to the guys with the relatives with the bulldozers. Talking about the gun range. Can I go shoot at the gun range? They're like, yeah, of course, you can go anytime you want. I'm like, no, I'll ask every time. They're like, and I go, do whatever you want. I said, it's the same thing with the tractors. And they're like, yeah, I'm free to use all of their equipment, their shooting ranges, everything. Anytime I want, no need to ask, just do it. And I can't force myself to do that. I have to ask every single time. And if they're not around, I won't do it. I won't even borrow their tractor, even though it's okay totally. But I can't do that without one of them being there and asking every single time. It's overinflated. It's ridiculous, completely ridiculous. But I can't do it. Same thing with that bingo hall I work at. That's owned by my father and my brother. And I was asked to take it over initially, also be an owner, and I refused. I know it's entertainment and people are turning over their money because they enjoy it and it's entertainment. But there's some people that really can't afford to hand over their money like that, and they could use it in better ways, more wise ways than that kind of entertainment. And for me personally, I can't do that. The good thing that I am able to even recognize it within myself is I told my parents that. It's like, if I take over, that business will be destroyed. I will try to do the best thing I can, but deep in my heart, my subconscious, I can't approve of that type of business. I don't know why. It's just this overinflated justice thing. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is, but I just can't do it. I'll be happy to stand in the background and help out and do maintenance and supplies and whatever, and handle the day-to-day stuff, but I cannot be part owner of that. And my subconscious would take over and subconsciously try to destroy the business, even though I'm trying to do good. And I can recognize that in myself. And I told my parents that. It's like, I cannot be an owner. I would try to do my best and it would not work out. So sorry the video is so long, but that was a lot of realizing going on. There's a lot more processing going on too with rambling with my tea. It was more a lot of space things and actual science. There's this connection between certain things. There's both sides, some of the science side and then this crazy side. They're kind of intertwining. It's really weird in that processing part for all the downloaded info. So it's really weird. But that's enough for now. Sorry the video is so long, and it's interesting.